meters per hour in the 400-meter standing start. And then it comes to the engines and the power. There's something for everyone. There's turbos, superchargers, prochargers. Some engines reach 1,000 horsepower. We'll have a good season in the Gulf States competition, the championship. I'm top of the rankings in Bahrain and the Dubai Championship, so that only motivates me to go even higher, to compete internationally. As soon as you start riding, you immediately feel the G's. They stick you in the seat and make you bounce after the starting. It's a crazy feeling, undescribable, total bliss. This has been a brutal edition of the Dakar for the trucks, and even if there are no longer in the empty quarter, the dunes can always catch you out. Albert Lovera discovered that today. Elsewhere, Vic Verstijn was being bullied by buggies, but made it home in 5th place. Struggling with power issues, Jonas van Kesteren at the end of the first week, notably due to a wastegate issue in the turbo engine, but the Dutchman had a better showing today, around 15 minutes down in 4th. Well, here's one of the 3 members of the Walter family taking part in this Dakar. Mikhail is making his debut for the family, rather than Jaroslav, his dad, driving a Tatra truck, and brother Jaroslav Jr. navigating for Alice Laprace. It's a steep learning curve. He's 61 hours back overall. That is steep. Terahita Sugawara is faring much better in his Eno. Love these little Enos. A Japanese veteran has also had his share of troubles, though. He's inside the top 10 overall. He was also just outside the top 10 on today's stage. But it was the usual suspects up at the front. Laprace had to settle for 3rd place. His truck, calls it Lady, by the way, doesn't quite seem to have the firepower to match Martin Macic and Mitchell van den Brinkje. Czech slips to 3rd place overall and sits almost 2 hours off the lead. Macic said the first part of the stage was tough. All the broken dunes and the camel grass. He lost a couple of minutes due to a minor automatic gearbox malfunction. He just calls it the truck, by the way. He then followed Van den Brinkje to the finish, although he got held up behind a lot of cars, which we can't tell you what he calls them. P2 overall for the lead of the Dakar. Van den Brinkje Jr. was delighted to claim victory for the first time this year. He passed Macic in the dunes and then attacked in the about 90% in the stony sections, giving it enough welly to win, but not so much that they punch it.
Very nice stage. We began very strong because we overtook Macic. And then we created a gap on him, and then we finished, I think, P1. So Moy and Jano, the mechanic and the co-pilot, did a very good job, and we're happy with the result.
Well, just over 40 minutes separated the top 10 today, with Van den Brinkje 1 minute and 18 clear of Macic. Well, the gaps are far more significant overall, with Macic holding a lead of 1 hour and 49 minutes. Dakar 2003 for sure was one of the biggest disappointments for this man. Sometimes it's bad luck, says Stefan Panansel. Sometimes it's driving errors, but this time I think I really dominated the event. With a day to go, the Mitsubishi technical team decided to change out the front water radiator because there had been doubts about something. And in fact, we did a jump, which we do 10 times a day, and after a rather heavy landing, we had a water leak. The water just pouring out. We lost all the fluid. We tried to repair it. We lost half an hour. We started again. It was okay. And then it leaked again. And then there came a moment when we stopped for a second time to repair, set off again at full speed, and by then we'd lost more than the equivalent of our overall lead. And that's when I said, okay, now we've lost the Dakar, we have to attack. And we did, to try and make up for lost time because of the radiator. And we broke the suspension triangle. So that's the definitive end of the day, he said. End of the race. It was quite hard psychologically because it was the first year that I really had a car that was capable of winning. We had to wait 3 or 4 years to get the official Mitsubishi drive, and now I had it. I had victory in my hands, but a technical problem. The Dakar Classic is a challenge to survive the harsh terrain of Saudi Arabia. It's also a fascinating race to victory. Well, leaders of the race before the rest day, the Czech crew of Klimču and Broš, still on the podium of this regularity rally, where the less points you score, the better you are. In their vintage Skoda, they're currently behind leader Carlos Santaolalia. The Spaniard in the Toyota Land Cruiser is making the best of his experience for his third appearance in the Dakar Classic, and after finishing second last year, he's on the path of a possible triumph to Yanbu. Santaolalia has a 76-point advantage over Klimču, Badeschi, and his Italian compatriot. Present on this year's Dakar Future Mission 1000 are the Arctic Leopard electric bikes. Let's find out more about this project based in southern Spain. I've done 16 Dakars on a bike. I'll be 17th. I ride bikes. I'm an environmentalist. I'm a vegan, says Willy Jobard. Well, the Dakar gives me the opportunity to compete with an electric bike. The Arctic Leopard company that builds the electric bikes in China gives me the possibility to ride. So, 2024, I'm here on the electric bike. It's an incredible test to see how the batteries will cope, he says. How the engine will cope. They develop the bikes that can do real Dakar in 2025. And that's what's interesting with Mission 1000. Well, the asset of an electric bike, he says, is that there's not much to do on it. When you've finished the race, you just look at the chain. There's no emptying of oil. There's nothing to do with the engine. You don't even have to look at it. We're talking about 2 mechanics. That's all we need. The technology is relatively simple. He says it's an electric motor that's so there's no contact. Do you want me to compare a washing machine? Well, the electric engine is a driller, and the washing machine uses what we call as sliding bushes to press and activate them. The contacts are made mounting the engine shaft. But those bushes get damaged and the washing machine no longer works. That's why you have to buy a new one. The bike has no contact. There's a rotor that doesn't move as it turns, and so it's bushless in English. Well, it's a different way of riding. We have no clutch because it's an electric engine, and you have a magnetic brake that allows you to brake the engine. And when they use the brake, it reverses the polarity, and the engine tends to turn backwards, and that stops the rear wheel and also allows you to charge the battery compared to a normal foot brake. It's braking without blocking the wheel. Well, the advantage of this type of electric bike is that you choose the power that you want, and thanks to the computer and the mobile phone, I can choose from 1 kilometer to 40 kilowatts. And now it's completely crazy. You can ride with 22. It's already more power than the combustion bike, a different performance. In terms of range, well, we've made tests and we can get around about 150, 160 kilometers out of the bike on one charge. Well, I'm going to be late for dinner, he says. I'm super happy with the bike and managed to be an important... It's showing everybody that the Arctic Leopard bike is here. An intense battle in the World Rally Raid Championship. Ricky Brabec had the upper hand today, getting precious time on his main rival Ross Branch. From 1 second, the American lead grew to 42 seconds. In the latest provisional FIM standings, 3 Honda riders are in the top 5. Leading the Rally 2 is Frenchman Romain Dumontier, ahead of his compatriot Jean-Luc Lepin. While still leading the FA Ultimate class, Carlos Sainz increased his lead today. The Spaniard, however, knows it's still quite a battle to win his 4th Dakar. Sainz now has a lead over an hour on Lucas Moraes, while Guillaume de Mébius is 3rd. Tomorrow, a 417-kilometre trip back to where it all started in Alula. Rocky plateau, dramatic scenery, and that's the order of the day. But there's still a few more days to go after Alula. Tonight, an evening in Ha'il. The original bimodal competitors get to work on their bikes. These intrepid adventurers are taking on the world's toughest rally without any outside assistance. They are the true embodiment of the spirit of the Dakar. It's where the heart lies. And it's with a heady heart that, and great sadness, we learned today that the family of Charles Falcon, we learned of the death of the Spanish rider. On stage 2, he suffered a heavy fall. He was airlifted to hospital in Spain, but has succumbed to his injuries.